أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نويت وأربعين وتوزن وخلق إن الله تركتنا الصحبات في الخير من جميع. We're asking Madad from our Shaykh Sahibul Saif Shaykh Abdul Karim al-Kibrisi Rabbani inshallah to send us something that is going to make a difference in our lives. We are surrounded every day, especially these days, with the news of death every time. But this ummah is still not waking up, thinking that we're living in the beginning of the times. The way that the Muslim nations are moving, it's like long time more before anything is going to happen. This is just the beginning. The way Muslim nations are behaving, very excited because these are the beginning of the real time that we are going to take our position in the center of the stage of the world. Make no mistake, no one is going to take that position in the center of the stage of the world except for Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam. We are not living in the beginning where there is full of hope and full of promise. We are living in the end. We are living in the end of the end, the Ahir of the Ahir Zaman. Between us and Judgment Day is not too much time left. And the real news that is surrounding us these days, every day, is nothing but that. Death. 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 We're watching the way that 21st century people the way that they are carrying themselves, although they're being reminded of this death every day, they've put a seal to their hearts. You can see a child dead, it's not moving you. You can see a person being ripped open, it doesn't move you. What moves you? What the ego wants. The pleasures of this life, it moves you. The excitement of this life, it moves you. It gets you excited. Football moves you more. You can wake up whole nations. You used to be the whole empire. You used to stand up to pray to Allah all together at least once a week, Thursday nights. Now we don't do it, but you can get the whole nation to stay up whole night long to watch football. But death is surrounding us. We cannot live our lives deaf, dumb, and blind anymore. This is the condition of the 21st century people, mankind. Muslims, number one. Somebody asked me a question before, thinking about death, saying, questions of the angels that they're asking. I was thinking to myself, mashallah, someone is actually listening to my sohbet, because I've been talking about that. I said, I talk about this, do you remember? I'm surprised. Don't remember. I'm asking you. Do you remember? You talk about the questions of the angels. Do you remember? What question? This, that. No. What we have been speaking about. What the awliyaullah are going to say. From the first question in the grave, we're not going to touch the questions that the angel is going to ask when your people are going to carry you on your shoulders. You are dead in the box and they're carrying you. There are questions you're going to ask to the grave. Don't worry. There is time inside of time and space inside of space. And in the grave, those who are not listening while you're alive, that talqin, it is to make you to understand, to wake up to this reality. How many times have heard Shaykh Effendi saying, you don't listen to me, I go speak to the graves, they listen to me well that time. Because they understand the reality of what I'm talking about. Why we have to wait until we're in trouble before we try to fix ourselves? The question is going to be asked. I asked, do you know that question? No. If I ask you, so many are not going to remember. There are so many questions. I asked only one question. I only opened up one. The way you live, that's how you're going to die. The way you die, that's how you're going to be raised up on Judgment Day. How we're living, for what we're living. The reason of our life, that is going to be our Lord. What you're living for, or who you're living for, or why you're living for, that is your Lord. That the first question that the angel is going to ask is, who is your Lord? Yes, that talqin is important, because that talqin, the Imam is going to say, the angel is going to come. He's going to say, who is your Lord? He's going to say, who is your Prophet? He's going to say, what is your nation? He's going to say, what is your ummah? He's going to ask you, what is your book? There are other questions they're going to ask too. This is your answer. That is last chance. But you think of a man who lived his life being stubborn, he's going to be able to understand those words when he dies? The way you live is how you're going to die. You think a man who is stubborn, deaf, dumb, and blind, those answers he's going to be able to get, is going to teach him anything, is last minute. There's no use. Even if you want, there's no use. We're saying, enemy is coming, prepare yourself for now. So what? By eating healthy? By exercising? That's not preparation. I want to learn how to shoot. You don't know how to shoot. Listen. Listen to what? Your commands? Why I have to listen to you? Listen, when wartime comes, you cannot be all over the place. You cannot be in chaos, because it is going to be very confusing. In that grave is going to be very confusing. If you're not learning how to listen to one voice, that time in the grave, you're going to listen to the wrong voices. And they're going to teach you the wrong things, wrong answers. So the Imam is going to say the talqin, saying, this is the question. Your Lord is Allah. Those who live their lives for their Lord, remembering that every day, it is just the reminder they understand. They will understand and they will give the right answer. Those who did not live for the sake of Allah, even they say, yes, yes, I remember. Allah, yes. The question is going to ask, who is your Lord? My wife. Who is your Lord? My husband. Who is your Lord? My house, my car, My ego. This is my Lord. This is the one that I've been serving all my life. The heart is going to speak. What is in the heart is going to speak. People are very stubborn. Murids are still very stubborn. You're not understanding what is stuck in your heart. My family. So many. My family. You know how we know whether you're putting Allah as Prophet first? Very simple. How you're making a zikr and how you're listening to the sohbet. It's very simple. What kind of attitude you're bringing to the holy days and nights. What kind of attitude you're bringing to the believers that they're trying to live for the sake of Allah. It's very simple. Who is your Lord? My complaining. Some complain 24 hours. They're making the zikr of complaining 24 hours. That is your Lord, meaning your ego. That time when they say, who is your Lord? My ego. The angels, they're going to take a big whip and they're going to hit you. Wrong answer. And the pain, scream much as you want. No one is going to hear you. Then they're going to say, speak, who is your Lord? He's looking inside his heart again. It is still the wrong answer. Wrong answer, another one. Wrong answer, another one. Awliyaullah, they're saying, some for thousands of years still stuck with one question that they cannot answer. Who is your Lord? Ask yourself these things. Who is my Lord today? Who is your Prophet? What nation? Meaning, who is your Prophet? Who is your guide? Who is my guide? Television is my guide. Internet is my guide. Who is my guide? Myself. So many are going to say, Wahhabi kind especially. I only know Allah and myself. That's it. Which nation you belong to? Which nation you belong to? So many Muslims running to belong to wrong nations these days. I don't mean the nation of Islam. Nation of Islam. I don't mean the nation of Pakistan or Turkey or China or America. Who do you belong to? Which group? That you belong to them, they belong to you. That you're reaching out to help to. What is your book? Where you get your instructions from? So many they're going to say, I have no book. So many they're going to say, my book is that internet, YouTube. That is my book. We are living in the Akhir Zaman. Death is surrounding us. Reminding, there's really no difference between us and those ones who are dead. Because who is going to say for certain, I'm going to live till the next day, till the next morning, and next week? Who can guarantee that? There are so many people now, thousands of people, they were making plans too. They were not thinking of death. And they're gone. They're finished. We are living in the Akhir Zaman. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is opening to us, understanding from this end of the earth to the end of the earth, we know we have that information. We are under even more responsibility now. Maybe 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they don't even know what is happening in the next village because people don't go out or they cannot get information. They are protected there. But we are responsible. if you're not trying to get rid of the wrong things that is in your heart, how are we going to answer the question properly? So many don't even know what is in their hearts. So many were saying this is wrong. They don't want to get rid of it. Don't get rid of it. It's okay. You're going to suffer a lot that time. We are asking Allah for our hearts to be open, not for us to be deaf, dumb, and blind. To understand what is in front of us, not to go searching so much to try to understand what is right in front of you to understand. And it is there. For a person of understanding, for a man who thinks, just by watching the skies, just by watching the sun and the moon and the night and the day, he's going to understand his Lord. That is not only for clever people, smart people, religious people. The sun and the moon and the sky is open for everyone. If you think, yes, of course it is. That's the time you belong to the Millat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because just by using your intelligence and you're watching, just like Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, watching, you will come to understand his Lord. May Allah forgive me, bless you, and raise the station of our Shaykh, inshallah, as we prepare for the new year that is coming. May Allah keep us in safe. Wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha.